Good evening, Carol and John shoppers.
Welcome back, Ben.
Whatever. I'm here with John Cheer, Andrea, Kyle. They did a great job holding down the fort. I was gone for a week. And look, there's no fire. There's no flood.
It's fine.
It's not biblical. It's great. I'm happy to be here. What was I supposed to talk about? We just talked about it. So we've got a sale coming up, first and foremost, on starting this Friday, going through Sunday. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday, that's the 24th through the 26th, is our Winston World Sale. We always hold it during the time of what was Wizard World downtown, now is Fan Expo. Whatever. There's a convention in town, so go to the local comic shop. It's that easy. We're going to have half off back issues. We're going to have 10% off everything in the store otherwise. So that's awesome.
That'd be a great time to pick up your files, too, because then you get your 10% off again.
Oh, yeah. You guys get to relive the glory days. So, yeah, great time to pick up your file, coming from the guy who manages files for the most part. Also upcoming on our next Late Nite Comics, which is going to be on April 20th, we've got Chad, who writes Chad in Amsterdam and The Re-Up. We've got some of his books with the local section back there. And he's stoked to do like a signing, meet and greet. He's going to be here all night. He's a really cool dude. We all loved him when we met him a couple months ago. He's been back to the shop a couple times since. He's got great stories. So that's a really good one to look forward to. We'll keep you appraised of that. There's one more thing.
Thanks for a great
Late Nite Comics previously. Last week, these guys had a ton of fun. You got a little bit of rest, I heard. You got to leave a little early. But yeah, we had a great Late Nite Comics. John had a ton of fun at the Harper Show. So thank you for everybody who visited him and Zoe there. It was awesome. It was awesome. I heard nothing but good things while I was 6 hours ahead of you, which was also super confusing because you guys had daylight savings time. So for a while you were 6 hours ahead. Then you were 5 hours ahead. I didn't know how to contact anyone. I gave up by the bottom of Germany. We've got some first appearances this week, just a couple. Marvel's got one. She-Hulk number 11 is the first appearance of The Scoundrel. Cool. The Milestone 30th Anniversary Special is the first appearance of Static Beyond, or Static Shock Beyond. But this is a great anthology. We're going to get to this one when we get to the table. And then my favorite first appearance, and one of my favorite issues of the week, Superman number 2, continuing an awesome run on Superman with this ongoing. But it's the first appearance of Marilyn Moonlight. Marilyn Moonlight.
Got it.
And then the first appearance of a villain named Graph. And the second cameo appearance of Dr. Farm, which I don't normally mention, but that's just silly. So we'll get to describing those books here in a minute. We're going to start at the bottom of the table. Keep in mind that the wall is going to be half off during this week's sale. And I mentioned that for two reasons. One, if you see something Kyle's showing you right now up here that you like, grab it while it's 25% off, like the first appearance of Dr. Aphra, first books of Doom. You got first Mr. Negative over here. Sheer just put up some Batman Year 1s, or they're around the shop somewhere. Grab them while they're 25% off, because this weekend they're going to fly the hell out of here, right?
Yep. That's true.
That happens. At the bottom of the table, we have a good little smattering of local stuff we just restocked or that we really recommend highly. This weekend, Zachariah came in and sold us Gum number 1, which is a story about 3 friends who find a mysterious pack of gum that gives them superpowers, and their lives get a little wild after that, as you could imagine. And then the guys were in here today and sold us the new issue of The Heel, number 4. It's like a pretty brutal wrestling comic. Number 4 is brand new to us. We have 1, 2, 3, and 4 in stock. If you're into it at all, claim number 1 now, because the first guy who's going to claim it, we've got a signed copy of number 1, and you never know who's going to hit it big or when.
And it's the whole series, like the whole story arc.
Oh, yeah, for story arc, because they're going to do a graphic novel next. Yep. So that's cool. They told us about that today. Jay Kelly's books on here, Durst's books on here, Gary Dumm's books on here, Chris Moran's books on here. And one of those comes with a record, like a 7-inch, which is really cool. So good time to grab local. It's a big comic week, but we're always trying to get the local guys some respect.
Yeah.
Right? On to new stuff. From Boom, which we got on this side of the table for once, which is kind of weird. First issue of The Neighbors. I think it's a 4-issue miniseries.
I think so.
It's a super creepy book about what it's like to raise a family involving transgender members in America. Like, that's how it's described in 2022, I think is what it said, but maybe the book.
It's also got elements of like Irish and English folklore that they're mixing all together with all of that.
Oh, that was the circle and the mushrooms and the milk and stuff. Yeah. It got creepier as it progressed. It was a good first issue. So if you're down for a new horror series. Also from Boom, the latest volume 3 of Basilisk. I think that wraps up the series by Cullen Bunn. We got a new issue of Grimm with number 9. New Dune for their current miniseries. That's at number 3. And then from Archie, a new one-shot for Archie Horror, Pop's Chocolate Shop of Horrors. So it's all of the all horror stories that take place in Pop's Diner from Riverdale lore. 3 stories?
3 stories.
Yeah.
Cool. So they're killing it with that. I'm just glad for more Archie Horror. Plus, like, Grossberger. Ugh. Yeah. Above that, we've got Quest Aside collected from Vault. So for you D&D fans, there's some D&D trade dressing for you. Next to it from Dynamite, you've got Red Sonja and Hell Sonja. It's number 4. From Sumerian, Pop Scars. It's like an anti-hero vigilante book, isn't it?
Yeah.
With fishnets. And then from Valiant, new number 1, Exo Man of War, Unconquered. Valiant's not doing a lot of fresh stuff lately, but this is a solid Exo Man of War book. It's like Conan the Barbarian wearing Iron Man armor, and like he makes some very formidable enemies. It's a pretty rad read. And like it uses its space well, and I mean space in like the cosmic sense. Like,
Yeah, it's pretty epic.
it's pretty cool. And next to that, we put the stop leaning on the books, man. You're not a professional. Come on. No. And we've got the Comics Pro exclusive variant. We marked that down just because the book came out this week, so snag it. It's exclusive. One thing from Humanoids this week, original graphic novel called Pixies of the 60s, and it's just what it sounds like. It is magical creatures known as pixies, and they are in London in the swinging, crazy, tumultuous 60s. They have to deal with all those protests and musical movements and everything that was happening then. It's cool. Then
You
we're on
said
Image.
that like you were from the 60s. Like, it's happening.
Well, been there, done that.
This guy knows Europe.
Immortal Sergeant is on issue number 3 of that miniseries. We've got Magic Order Part 4, issue 3. Spawn Scorched is on number 16, and I didn't look at that cover until now really closely. It's like, I want to put it under a black light.
Yeah.
Undiscovered Countries on number 24. We've got a couple let me do these. Vanish from Donny Cates and Ryan Stegman is on number 5. We've got the Daniel Warren Johnson Virgin 1 in 25 variant for that one. 2 collected editions from Image, Creep Show Volume 1. 4-issue miniseries that was so successful, they're going to bring it back, which is really cool. We brought that info back from Comics Pro, and that's awesome. And then Dead Lucky from the Massive Verse, or the Super Massive Verse, is the all miniseries collected. The last collected from Image is Kingspawn, and that's Volume 2 in paperback. And then one big Image number 1 this week, Dead Romans, has to do with the Roman campaign in Germania. Mm-hmm. Which feels like I'm targeted right now since I just got back from it. But it's a bit of a trio of stories that are intersecting about a man, his lover, and the other man who claims her as his lover also. And there's a bunch of blood and violence in between all of that.
Yep.
So yeah, that's it for Image. Next, big old Marvel book that I'm going to let John Shear handle, a hardcover for the Marvel value stamps.
So value stamps, a visual history. So all those stamps, like you want Hulk 181, and you want to see what the stamp was inside, it's got it in here because it shows you the covers of the book, Sergeant Fury and his Holland Commandos, with the value stamp that goes with it. So look, there it is right there, Sergeant Fury. So it's chock-a-block full of stuff. It's amazing. Roy Thomas wrote this. It's wonderful. It is $30, and if you want to know anything about those Marvel stamps, like if you have one of those comics and somebody cut it out, now you can see what the stamp was inside there.
Freaking any bit of Marvel history to do with any amount of that era of stuff. Like, there's so much information in that book. It's not just pictures of stamps.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I got my copy. I can't wait to delve into it.
Also, some of the smallest print in an encyclopedia I've ever seen.
Yes. But yeah, it's wonderful. Love it.
Go ahead while you're still talking.
So while I'm still talking, we also have $100 omnibus. We have 2 of them. We've got the direct market. We've got the regular one. Savage Avengers. It's the whole shebang. It's wonderful. We got it in last week, so we can sell it today. I'm already 2/3 of the way through it again. I love it. I love it. It is Conan. It is like the best of Conan. Like if you've never read Conan and you want to see like what he's like, this is the way to do it. Doom is written incredibly well. Wolverine of Logan of Pabst is written incredibly well. Everybody is written incredibly well in this. Punisher, it's fantastic.
You're gonna sell me on it, man.
Oh, I know. Like when it was coming out, we were hyping it every week, much like another book that we're going to be coming to on the DC side. So yeah, $100 worth every penny.
It's probably our most recommended omnibus in recent memory. We've got 2 different covers for it. Both Diodato?
Yeah.
That's awesome because he killed it on the book. So Savage Avengers,
Finch did this one. Yep.
Well,
Diodato did the regular.
Well, then
Finch did the
one's
market.
worth it and one's less worth it. We'll continue with Marvel Collected Editions. We got Guardians of the Galaxy, the complete series by Donny Cates. So that's 12 issues of epic cosmic awesomeness, all written by Cates. Moon Knight's most recent volume is volume 3. That includes the annual with Werewolf by Night in there. 1 epic collection by Marvel. That's Fantastic Four. The Dream is Dead. I can do this. We'll skip back a couple of... and New Mutants by Vita Ayala for volume 4. Look at that. 2 reprints from Marvel. Second prints from Marvel. We got Red Goblin #1 if you missed it, and Storm Brotherhood of Mutants if you missed it. The ever-popular Sins of Sinister storyline. And now we're on to new Marvel stuff, right?
Yep.
Darth Vader's on number 32. Next to that, you got Tiger Division on number 5 with a cover B variant that's mostly blue. So
I think that wraps it up for them.
that's the end of the miniseries. Thank you. A reprint I'm super excited about, Avengers Rage of Ultron, is a fantastic modern Ultron story by Rick Remender, one of my favorite writers. And this $8 book collects the entire previously $25 hardcover. If you prefer a hardcover, we definitely have that over there. It's beautiful. It's well worth it. But otherwise, great Ultron story. Great history to it. A little bit of emotion in there. But definitely a lot of Avengers going down.
And if you want to know what's going on with Hank Pym, this tells you.
Yeah, currently. You're right. Also new from Marvel. Continuing, we got Spider-Man The Lost Hunt number 5. That's the last issue,
5.
too. Yep, so that's the last one. You get some sweet armored 90s Spider-Man. Joe Fixit's on number 3. That'll be your cover A. This will be your cover B. The Wasp is also on number 3. I didn't even do that on purpose. That'll be your cover A, and here's your cover B. Carnage is on number 11. We've been laughing at Carnage's facial expression about for a week now. Marauders is on number 12. Next to it in the X-Men vein, you got Extreme X-Men number 4. The homage cover, and that's it. Oh, sorry, that's history. I thought I was blending together here. A facsimile edition from Marvel this week, Avengers number 9, original Avengers number 9. This is the first appearance of Wonder Man, so that's pretty cool. Probably, we're all stoked about this one.
Yeah,
Punisher number 10. It's in the middle of a story arc, but it's a hell of a story arc. Really fantastic. If you've been reading Punisher, you are not going to be disappointed even one little bit. And a great cover B for that one also. She-Hulk number 11, the aforementioned first appearance of Scoundrel. And then we've got, who was that? Why does that look familiar? No? Nobody?
Nobody.
Cover B for She-Hulk. Storm of the Brotherhood of Mutants, delightfully pre-ordered, but we have the 1 in 25 variant here if that catches your fancy. And we are getting more cover A's later this week, so please don't feel free to ask us for that. Amazing Spider-Man number 22 with a wonderful villainous cover by Romita Jr. Continuing that story, you're finding out what happens, and a cameo appearance from my hometown.
Yes.
For those who care, which is rad.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
But I think the next issue is like a doozy as far as information goes.
Yeah.
Though we did get to find out
A
a lot of
Find
stuff.
out a lot of stuff.
This is the story arc we've been waiting for 20 issues, for sure. Number 1 from Marvel this week, actually a single one-shot. Women of Marvel for 2023, anthology stories of female Marvel characters told by female Marvel creators. So I think it's all tied together, one story with a She-Hulk courtroom case, but involving every character on the cover of that. Everybody want to help me out with variants on here?
The cover B, then the Elsa Bloodstone variant, and then the Blondie homage variant.
Okay, Blondie homage.
Yep.
Top of the table, I know, kind of, except for the variants. Doctor Strange #1, written by Jed MacKay, still coming out of the book Strange, all about Clea as the Sorceress Supreme. Now, Doctor Strange is back. They're together. They're tackling a lot of problems. And it's a delightful read. It's a great beginning to a Doctor Strange ongoing series. It primes you with what you need to know. The problems he deals with are, like, challenging yet satisfying to watch.
If you weren't reading Strange with Clea as the Sorcerer Supreme, then you can absolutely just read this and just keep going.
Yeah.
And if you were reading it, it continues right from there.
And
as you said, delightful is a great word for it.
it really is. I mean, like, it's very satisfying read. And for $5, you get 2 stories because you get a tie-in backup story. It's not just like some rando backup story that makes no sense elsewhere.
Yeah.
It like they contribute to each other very well. Very good read. Highly recommended. Gonna get that signed later this week. Got a couple variants. We got the Alex Ross Timeless variant for the villains this time. Dormammu. The Infinity Saga variant featuring Doctor Strange doing his little twirly hand stuff. Stormbreakers variant.
Coca-Cola. Yeah.
Cocolo. Martin Cocolo.
What? Coca-Cola.
Oh,
Coca-Cola.
I got thrown off. All right. All right. Zombies.
Yeah.
We got a 1 in 50 variant and a 1 in 100, rarely hits the table, of the sketch black and white Alex Ross Dormammu. So that's cool. But now we're on to the DC side of the table. The last Batman One Bad Day one shot for now. Ra's al Ghul, One Bad Day, was great. It's written by Tom Taylor. It's a fantastic Ra's al Ghul story. You get a great, perfect primer about kind of what he's about and how he's about it. It's an equal parts Batman story and Ra's al Ghul story. Damian plays a big part. Talia plays a big part. Perfect start to finish round out of it. I'm not going to say it's blowing all the other One Bad Days out of the water, but it's definitely in the top tier of them.
Yeah.
For sure. Variants for this, I don't. Oh, that's Jim Lee.
Jim
Yeah.
Lee, yeah.
You know,
Jim Lee's always cover B.
Yes.
Thanks, Jim Lee. And then we've got 1 in 25 variants, which this kind of situation of the cross-section of Ra's and Batman happened a lot in the book, which is cool. So it makes that variant a little cooler. Movie poster?
Yeah. It's awesome.
1 in 50. And then another rare 1 in 100 by Brian Boland, which is selling for much more online. So if you guys are actually speculating this one, that's a great one to pick up. Probably my pick of the week. I downplayed a little bit when we were doing first appearances. Superman #2, continuing with the dawn of DC. We got a few extras of this book. Thanks, Lunar. But it's a great introduction of the 2 characters that have first appearances in here, but also just a really solid Superman book. Like a great beginning story arc for Superman. If you want, again with speculation, if you want a book that is currently worth more than the cover price, according to the internet, this is the book. You could buy 12 copies of this and resell them for more than you paid for them right now.
But don't buy 12. Leave some for some people.
You can buy 12. I don't care. We got a bunch extra. We've got a great cover B with Parasite being fought there, which is not irrelevant. We've got a 1 in 25 variant, a 1 in 50 variant, and the continually cool 1 in 100 variant. Every time I look at it, it looks awesome. Go for it.
Yeah. Then right below that, DC's Legion of Bloom. This was the one of the $10 books this week from DC, and it is all the plant-based characters within the DC universe. They get their own stories. There's a multitude of stories. The first one is a very creepy Poison Ivy story, and it's bookended by a very heartwarming Superman story by Riley Rossimo. It's like all the stories in there are great. Captain Carrot even has a story in there.
It's a good story.
Yeah, so it's wonderful.
And I heard from the staff 2 separate times today that it was much darker than they expected it to be, which is sweet. Yeah.
So we have the regular cover there. We got lots of that. We're going to go to cover B, which is the Derek Chu cover. Then the Mike Perkins variant for that one there. And then the, I believe, 1 in 25 variant for that one, which we did not put the number on. So we've got that.
We're not perfect, okay?
The last issue for the Harley Quinn animated series, Legion of Bats, issue 6 is there. And then, we'll go DC. DC's penultimate issue, number 7 of 8.
Penultimate issue of the whole freaking series, man.
Yeah.
Unless someone at DC's watching how excited we are every freaking time we get to talk about DC's.
And says, let's get more of them.
More DC's.
You know what? This book is wonderful. Much like Savage Avengers when it was coming out, every time this comes out, we are excited about it with good reason. It is fantastic. It is wonderful. You could pick up this, you shouldn't just pick up this issue, but you can. Yeah, it's great.
And it's like, sometimes we'll describe books to each other when we're talking about the table. We're like, the beginning's really good, the end's pretty good. Like, man, that part in the middle. Every freaking part of this book is awesome.
Yeah.
Beginning, middle, end. Like, Lobo in the beginning, Darkseid at the end. Awesome.
I think
and then
Andrea should hold up this cover.
I wore this shirt because this cover is coming out.
So
we have to screenshot that.
Yeah. So that's cover B for Deceased.
Your homage.
We've got the 1 in 50 variant right
Unnecessarily sexy.
Yes. And the 1 in 25 variant right there with creepy deceased black mana.
That's Matina, too.
Yep. So the other $10 book is Milestone 30th Anniversary Special. All new stories.
Yeah, all original stories.
Yeah, it's if you like, as many of you do, the Milestone universe, this is a book to get because it's got everybody doing everything in there, including the first appearance of Static Beyond.
And it's the first time the 1993 characters meet the modern era characters.
Oh, very nice.
And it's an homage cover.
It is.
Yep.
Yes.
Actually, got to grab one of those. I forgot somebody.
All right. Batman Superman World's Finest, number 13. Simon Stagg has been killed. If you know any DC history, he's the guy who's responsible for Metamorpho becoming Metamorpho. Everybody thinks Metamorpho did it, but at the end, you find out who they've arrested for it, and it's a cool little twist. So that's issue 13. That's the regular cover. We've got the 1 in 50 variant, and the 1 in 25 variant with everybody on it. Nightwing 102. I'm just gonna say it's great. You should get it. It's part 2 of the current little run. Just read Nightwing.
I want you to have a comic book blog that just says it's great. You should. The title, it's great. You should get it.
You should. Yeah.
There you go.
It's Nightwing. It's if you haven't been reading Nightwing after we've been saying read Nightwing, next week I believe the trade paperback of Tom Taylor's first one comes out. So his first run. So we'll hype that up again next week.
I thought it already came out, but I've been gone a week, so I don't really know what's going on.
So and then we got the 1 in 25 variant there. Below that, Flash 1 Minute War, penultimate for that, because the next one will be the final. We've got the regular cover there. We've got the 1 in 25 variant, and then the very spiffy foil 1 in 50 variant for that. We'll go down below real quick. Yeah, Wonder Woman 797, part 2 of the Lazarus Planet tie-in. The last Lazarus Planet ties directly into this. This picks up right after that. If you like that one, and I did, I picked this up. So, yeah, we've got the regular cover. We've got the 1 in 25 variant. And again, the spiffy foil variant for that.
They really are cool.
They are.
They're awesome looking.
Yeah.
Love them.
Catwoman Nakayama's still doing the covers for that. We've got the regular cover A on number 53. And then the Boo, is it the Boo cover? The Boo cover for that one. And then trade paperbacks, we're going to go up. Power Girl, issues 1 through 12, and then her Justice League Unlimited, I believe 1 through 3 are all in there. And then all by Amanda Connor and Jeff Johns.
Notice that cat at the bottom.
Streaky.
Oh, yeah. No, it's not Streaky.
Oh, Streaky. It's not Streaky.
No, it's the very, it's a very...
Winston, who's this cat?
It throws up a lot. We've got the Multiversity Teen Justice fully collected in there. Nice. And then probably the other one that we've been waiting on. Oh, come on, we're going to Swamp Thing Hotel. It's number 3 of 3. It's Jeff Lemire. It's Doug Mahnke. It's creepy. It's gross. It's awesome. It's wonderful. But not as gross as this cover here, which is also creepy and gross and awesome. It's the 1 in 25 variant for that. Issue 3 of 3. Only a year and a half in the making, I think, or a full year in the making. So, yeah. And then to round out DC's, actually not even close. We still got a few. Blue Walls on issue 5, I believe.
6.
6. Okay, 6 of 6, I'm sure. And then Black Adam's on number 9. We've got some reprints. It's Batman the Joker Deadly Duo. We had the issues 1, 2, and 3 last week. This is issue 4 in its second print. This is the one where Joker decides to save a whole train of people by killing some people. And then Lazarus Planet next
to break some eggs.
Exactly. Next Evolution, we've got the reprint of that for number 1.
Nice.
And then we move on to Dark Horse, and we got Blue Book number 2, which I think everybody's anticipating.
I'm excited to read it. Yeah. They're continuing telling true abduction stories. So just adapting those to comic book form. Thanks, James Tynion. We've got a new number 1 from Dark Horse, Order and Outrage. It's about a not far-flung future where like gene therapy is accessible to the super rich, and they kind of like shape the world with their money and their bodies.
But the big deal is it's Jim Starlin writing it.
Yeah.
Well, that's a big deal.
Yeah.
All right. So that's all I got to say.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Jim Starlin wrote it. There's one cover. There's another cover. Describe it if you want it.
The art. We've got the creepy blue alien.
No, she's
genetically
not.
modified.
No,
genetically modified blue person.
I just described the book.
Yes.
She's not.
Genetically modified blue person. And then the busy cover.
Okay. All right.
We could have stuck with one and another.
Star Trek Aliens trade paperback collects a series of one-shots from Star Trek over the past couple of years. I'm not going to try and do more than that. I'm sorry. I'm a Star Wars person. TMNT Reborn Volume 6 is the current ongoing series of TMNT. So it's the prelude. It's the Road to Armageddon game stuff getting collected there, which is going on right now. Got a new Godzilla one-shot, which is the Best of King Ghidorah. And that's a sweet cover.
Right.
I just watched all the Godzillas on the plane, so I'm like, I'm into it. Earth Divers is on issue number 6. It stays weird. It is the end of a story arc, and it is super satisfying. Also gives you a little preview of what's going on with them the rest of the year and their new stuff. On the table, we have TMNT The Last Ronin number 1. This is a Virgin cover. It's a 1 in 100. We had it left over from when number 1 came out last month. It is a super sought after issue, so if you'd like it, I don't know if it got featured here while I was gone or not. I figured I'd talk about it. It's the first appearance of New Turtles, so I can't imagine a 1 in 100 variant wouldn't be worthwhile. Knights of the Dinner Table on number 302. We've got a new issue of Gargoyles with number 4. That'll be your cover A. This will be your Trish Forster variant, drawn dogs. And then a new issue of like, why are they playing with a frisbee? Like,
Why wouldn't they?
Wait, who's catching it?
good question, Kyle. And then TMNT ongoing with an epic cover also. Part of the Armageddon game. That's issue 138. Kids section this week is light on single issues, but heavy with other awesomeness. New Dog Man, Under the Sea, 20,000 Fleas. Watch out for those when you're a dog. Looks like Cat Kid's involved too. We got Mish the Bad Demon, which is about a demon who dreams of simpler, more fun things. She likes reading comic books about pixies. Not typical for a demon.
In the
60s?
60s?
In the 60s?
What do you know? We got a pixie week. Science Comics, the periodic table of elements is almost a D&D book.
Yeah.
It's a kid playing D&D with the elements as characters and monsters. It's awesome, and you learn something. And then they came in with a collection this week. We got to fill up some room on the table. A completely blank Batman journal for $5.
Best book on the table.
One new fantastic piece of merchandise this week, and then I'll get out of your ear. We've got a Marvel Select figure for Apocalypse with all of the add-ons and weird, useless arms, like a claw arm.
There's a
Your
drill
arm
arm.
is already, your hand is already a claw. But there's a
Maybe you
drill
wanted to
arm,
be a
which is
lobster.
sweet. You got a mace. Yeah, but I don't want to be a lobster. So great new Marvel Select figure. You gotta love Apocalypse, looking menacing. That's our new comic table. Winston's stoked about Winston World.
Look how
Yep.
excited.
Winston World.
Oh, yeah. That's it. Thank you for joining us. I'm really happy to be back. I love that these guys didn't light anything on fire. Not that I thought they would. But it's nice to be here instead of commenting. So thank you guys, and we will see you tomorrow for your comic books.